Welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. How you doing today, Brenna?
I'm good. Happy Tuesday to you and to everybody out there. Thank you for joining us for another brand new episode tonight.
Thank you for being with me today here. Once again, I did have someone that was supposed to come on. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I do want to get started with this topic today because I'm just going to be straight up. I was pissed off the other day. Um, Yes, I was. I was very pissed off and I was mad and upset. And I was just like, how are these things happening in the world where our kids are getting hurt and harmed? I was like, is there are we human? Like, I know I am, but I'm just
Right.
saying, like, are we surrounded by humans or what are we exactly surrounded by nowadays? Because it seemed to be the cruelty is just getting worse and worse and worse in this world. So I wanted to start off with that because that's what got me to the point to where I wanted to talk about losing faith in humanity.
Yeah.
And um I wanted to discuss this topic again because many of us go through a lot of stuff in our life. Okay. And I know some people who have expressed how there is no hope for humanity because of the things that has happened, the things that we see in the news, the amount of kids that are getting hurt, women, just people in general. Not just people. This goes way beyond just humanity. It goes towards the leaders of this country and the world, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a lot of things going on in the world. If we watch the news, all we hear mostly all the time is bad news, crime, and just the list goes on of horrible things that we hear.
Right.
Um, so to say this, that what pushed me and actually said, okay, talk about this. Let's talk about this. Was the baby who actually got I'm sorry, y'all. The baby who got harmed in Atlanta. Um, so it was a 9 month old baby. And I believe two men were shooting back and forth with each other and ended up harming this baby. And the baby is gone.
Mm-hmm.
This happened at a motel on Circle 75, right by where, it's my a local area.
Mm-hmm.
So hmm, that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
And and it was terrible. So condolences to that baby family. Um, so that's what really pushed me to talk about this subject because that was just so inhumane to me. And anytime that I hear something about a baby or a kid getting
Mm-hmm.
harmed in this world, I just be furious. I
Yeah.
be mad because I be like, how are you human?
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
Mm-hmm. It's like how do we as humans, how do us have as a people have the capability to do something so terrible and so tragic to another human? How is it that it's okay to harm another person? How is it that day after day after day after day we don't have to search too far and wide to find news stories and updates about various tragedies of things occurring at the hands of another human being to someone else? And it's like, who are we? What times are we living in that it's now almost become the norm, and it's now almost become acceptable to learn about these tragedies that are taking place not just all over the world, but literally in our own backyard. We live here, we work here, our family is here, our children are here. So, this is not necessarily just a random thing. It could have happened to either you or I. It could have happened to one of our members of our families. So it definitely hits close to home. I know that, children and babies, that is something that's very near and dear to your heart, and something that you are very protective over them and over that space. So I know that this was, definitely, that was something that you were pissed off about. And yeah, we absolutely should talk about it, because the fact that we're able to sit here while this child's family is over there grieving and having to imagine how to put one foot in front of the other in order to move forward with their lives without this young child, it's just a shame. And it's something that shouldn't have had to happen, and it didn't have to happen, but unfortunately it did, and here we are.
And here we are. It's just like the disregard for others' lives. How some people don't give a damn, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like some people just don't.
Yep.
They don't give a damn.
Yep.
And sometimes I question if, like I said, I question, like, where is humanity?
Right. Right. um when you talk about humanity, you're talking about the humankind, and human and those kind, and human and the word kind go hand in hand, and they go together. And when you think about humans, you tend to think about how we have this ability to express kindness and to take care of one another, not only just as individuals and not just our own individual families, but as communities. When we're advocating for those that don't necessarily have a voice and don't necessarily have a platform to raise awareness about their conditions, that's something that we stand very firm on, and we will want to speak for them and get that message across and assist however we can assist. But when you take a step back and you think about humankind, as humans, we are not being very kind. We're not being very kind. And you ask the question, has humanity disappointed you? Have you lost faith in humanity? And the unfortunate answer is yes. I've been disappointed by humanity. I've absolutely been disappointed, and I've absolutely been let down. And, it's very frustrating to have to find the courage and the strength every day to put one foot in front of the other, and to live your life in a positive way that's going to have an impact on your children and on your legacy and on your family and on your community, knowing that the world that we live in right now is just wild. It really is. It's
And
just
not
wild.
only that, but people are already out here struggling. Like, okay,
Mhm.
let's move on from that topic because it's a really sensitive topic.
Yeah.
But just moving on to the other part of humanity that I want to talk about is we are already out here struggling. People are already out here struggling just to get by. The inflation is going up, keep rising. So
Mhm.
as much as we're trying to catch up in this world, it's just like everything is pretty much bringing a lot of people to an edge. We got homeless people in the streets around rich people neighborhoods,
Yep.
and I mean, no one cares. Like, you care because you don't want them to be on your block, but I feel like no one really cares to help.
Mhm.
And the ones who can't do much to help, will set up people. I've seen like many people around me setting up food drives, going to go feed the homeless, and they're just like regular people as we are.
Yep.
But as far as the people that have, resources and money and can really, I'm not saying the people around me don't have any money. I'm just saying like the wealthy, rich people. Like I
Right.
don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Where are y'all? Like
Hmm.
where are y'all when these people are in your neighborhood? You only complain that you don't want homeless people in your neighborhood. But
Hmm.
if you go to California, oh my goodness, like that is probably one of the places that I've seen in my life that poverty is just so bad.
So bad. Which is such a stark contradiction to what you imagine when you think about California and you think about, all the money and the wealth and the industries that are out there, music, television, film, all of that. You would think that homelessness wouldn't even be something that would even exist, in California, but it does. I mean, I've seen pictures and I've seen videos and I've watched documentaries and watched shows and I've listened to podcasts and just different stories about homelessness and areas across the country where it is hit really, 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 really bad, and California is definitely one of them. Atlanta is one of them, as well. And you would think that Atlanta, that we would do better. You would think that Atlanta would have the sense of community and the sense of pride, and all the stories of people that have that rags to riches
Right.
storyline, that they would do more to really help others that were in less fortunate situations, that there would be more contributions to be able to secure funding for homeless shelters where women didn't have to worry about going and being abused. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, it's very scary, the options that are available to homeless people. And some of them don't allow for families to remain together. They may have shelter for the women and the children, but they might not have space for the men, or they might have a wait list for the men to be able to get lodging for the night. I know that there's different meal programs and things like that that are open up around the city and throughout the city, where people can go and get hot meals and take showers and things like that, but it's definitely not enough. It's absolutely not enough.
And a
It's not
lot of
enough.
people around me, like I said, a lot of people around me, yeah, like, homelessness is everywhere. It's not just California, you're right. It's a lot of more places. It's just sad to see it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's really sad. It makes me sad. I don't know
Yeah.
about anybody else, but it does to me. It makes me want to cry. It makes me put me in a very sad, lonely place when I
Yeah.
see those things. And a lot of people around me, they do question life on a daily basis. And I cannot blame you. I can encourage you. I
Right.
can encourage you. I can encourage the people around me. But I'm definitely seeing exactly what they see. And I see it every day on social media, people trying to give up. People like,
Yeah.
oh, what am I doing here? What is the purpose of my life? We had that
Hmm.
conversation about purpose
Yep.
in our life. And I'm glad that we did have that conversation. But people do question that. People have lost faith in friends, family,
Right.
jobs, careers.
Hmm.
you know can we reverse this?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And I wish that I had a less cynical outlook. I'm sorry, y'all, but right now I'm a little jaded. I'm a little feeling somewhat defeated in my daily battle, to try to make a difference, to try to have an impact, to be the best version of myself that I could be. It's like, it's tiring. It's a lot of work to show up every single day, right? So imagine those that have been getting the beat up of, they don't have the comfort of knowing that they have a job to go to and steady income to pay their bills and to make sure that their family has meals, to make sure that their children can participate in extracurricular activities, that their kids are doing things that they're passionate about and pursuing their crafts, and not having idle minds, and not just spending a bunch of time, just doing random things that don't really account for much of their time. You want them to make, intentional choices and decisions about how they're spending their time, right?
And
So
some people don't see the purpose in living a long life, because I've noticed that some people just want to get out of here quicker.
they do.
I even heard someone said to the lines of, "Oh, they have stuff to make you live longer. What about giving me something to live less?"
Yeah, which,
And that's so sad.
it is sad. It's absolutely sad. But at the same time, when you think about the stressors and the daily challenges that we have every single day, and just think about how blessed we are, right? We have shelter, we have housing, we have transportation to get from point A to point B. We have a steady income, we have a way to take care of our bills, we have a way to clothe
With
ourselves and
what
and
we
feed
have, with
ourselves.
who has it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, when you think about those that don't have that same fortune, or they don't have that same ability, for them, it is an everyday battle in terms of keeping a roof over their heads and clothing and food and, all the essentials, just basic fundamental needs. When you have that weight kind of bearing on you,
Mm-hmm.
I can I can see how it would be challenging to find the drive and the determination and the will to continue to fight for another day. You're trying your best, you're reaching out, you're trying to utilize assistance programs, and there's a wait list for this kind of assistance, for that kind of assistance. um whether it's housing assistance, whether it's assistance with a job, whether it's being able to qualify for unemployment, whatever the case may be that you need help with. There's always seems to be some kind of challenge with people being able to get connected with that assistance in a timely fashion. You know what I mean? And I just think that, as a whole, as people, we're all just tired. Everybody's just tired. There's just so much that's going on that we have to encounter, that we have to deal with, that it's a struggle. And it's
It
hard. I
is.
mean,
It is. It definitely is, and I can see it. From that point of view of losing hope. Should we say hope in humanity? Or you know what I'm saying? But what I always try to encourage the people around me, that I have around me in my circle, or if I see anyone and they're going through something, like I just finished talking to somebody regarding uh, about this topic.
hmm
um they were actually telling me a little bit of their life story, and how can I encourage them? Control what you can control around
hmm
you.
true.
um don't lose hope. I still say don't lose hope.
Yep.
And that's because the more of us that are in this world, just like me, you, or the people who really care, the better. Because I do believe there is evil in this world, but I also believe there is good.
hmm
um So, to move on from that part of humanity, because I know that the other part we wanted to talk about is to question um, the human experiments that have been done on humans from people,
Mm.
leaders of countries, um, also make you lose faith in humanity. So that is another one that I question the whole sickness in 2020. Was it
Mm-hmm.
2020?
Yeah.
And I believe our kids should be living in a safe place. We all should be. But I don't know. Like they're using these things to attack people.
Like I said, it's definitely a wild time. There really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of consistency and stability, and that in of itself can be very jarring. That's adding fuel to the fire. It's adding weight to the pile. I mean, it's just like one thing after another is just piling on and piling on. And yes, I do believe that it's best to be hopeful. It's best to look for the positive outcome and the positive outlook, and to stay encouraged and not remain discouraged. It's fine to have a moment of that, and to feel it and to be in it. But it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard when we're surrounded by so many things that really make us question, like you said, humanity. I mean, experiments on people. It's like, who in their right thought process in their mind was like, let's do this test and see if this bacteria or if this virus is can cause an illness that'll do all these debilitating things to a
And
human
I'm not
being.
saying it happened allegedly.
Right.
We're gonna say allegedly, okay?
Allegedly.
We're not saying that we know that for sure, but it's a
Right.
lot of things to question,
It's a lot
especially
to
with all
question.
the sicknesses that goes on around us. And it's not
Hmm.
just the C word, okay?
Right. Right.
It's plenty of more.
Hmm.
Plenty.
Plenty.
If you do your
Yeah.
research, you
It's a
would
lot.
know.
It's a lot
You
out
you do
there.
your own research and you actually come into your own conclusion. But
Yep.
don't take anything that I'm saying, for facts, because of course it's not. But just do your own research and
Your
use your own
research.
discernment.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's like it starts up high and it goes down from the chain. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we're being attacked all the way from the top
To the bottom. Yep.
to the bottom.
To the bottom.
And how do we, how to not lose faith? How do we not lose faith in humanity? And I know that we're not supposed to be holding each other on a high regard here, but you know, we I believe, just in my opinion, I mean, humans have to have feelings, have to have remorse
Mm-hmm.
about things that
Mm-hmm.
they're doing to the people.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we not lose faith?
It's tough. I mean, it really is tough. It's a challenge, and these troubling times that we're in, where things are very disturbing and things are very uncertain. It's like the best that you can do to really keep yourself from falling into a dark place is to remain hopeful, is to believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that through the darkness does come light. Believe in rainbows, believe that there is sunlight after the storm. It's gorgeous out, the skyline is beautiful after a massive storm, after a storm that causes such havoc and devastation. The sky looks absolutely amazing immediately after a storm, and you wonder why, after all that chaos and havoc, here is something beautiful. So I think maybe
Absolutely.
if we think in terms of that and kind of think along those lines, that will help us find those bits of positivity and find those bits of hope and courage to cling on to get us through these
And
times.
speaking to my circle, because of course I cannot um go from the top up, right? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. So
Right.
I'm speaking to everybody that's around me. And I would say let's first acknowledge the things that go on in this world. And we don't even have to start from the top, just on an everyday basis, on what we do every day,
Mm-hmm.
and acknowledge how we feel about it, because sometimes we don't acknowledge on how do we feel. And
Right.
see, that's why we have this platform, because I'll come up here and I'll tell you, hey, I'm pissed off,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, or however I'm feeling, I'm going to tell you. So the reactions are definitely natural, of course. Um, Natural reactions that we have regarding what we see, what we have to deal with on a daily basis, how hard we have to work. If you're a single mother, you have to do it. And the baby's daddy don't want to help, you got to do it all by yourself. Same way if it was a single baby daddy and mommy didn't want to help, he got to do it all by himself. So, you know, give your it's time for bed. Give yourself, Alexa always say that. Look, trying to make sure I go to bed. Give ourselves the space to feel. We should also be looking at the good in the world. And that's what I told the person who was actually telling me the story, small little story about their life and how they got to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we should be looking at the good, not only the bad. So
Right.
those are only things that, I use to cope in an everyday basis. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but I'm just letting you know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just stuff that I do. Um, it's good to start off with a healthy balance, to see good things that are being done. What are you doing? What are you seeing? Not just see the bad in
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yep.
So look at positive things, listen to positive things.
Yep.
You can be the change, in your own space, in your own circle.
Yep.
And if you have a friend that is going through a sickness, if you have a family member that is going through a sickness, you can do that for them
Yep.
right there in your circle. They're right there in your circle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, when I'm even through my situation, when I felt really sick and I had to get infusions and I didn't know what to do, Brenda. Remember, I was
Yep.
calling you, I was like, oh my God, like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was the end of the world for me.
Yep. I remember.
But you
Mm-hmm.
encouraged me. You encouraged me. Not only you, I had a lot of more people that also encouraged me. Um, but it was something that stood out to me. You let me know, hey, you're gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is you explained to me the process, which gave me a more sense of hope of what I was going through.
Right.
So I was like, okay, it's not the end of the world, Dominique.
Mm-mm.
Chill out.
Mm-mm.
Chill out.
This will pass. This
And
will pass, and you're
also,
going to be okay.
I thought about other people that were more sick than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what am I doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just this,
Right.
you know? And there are other people in this world that really are going through it and have a terrible ill sickness where their numbers are their days are being counted.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to calm down. I had to. And even though it was okay for me to feel the way that I felt at first, and I did give myself permission to feel that way because I needed to get it out.
Right.
I couldn't hold it in. I can't hold it
Mm-hmm.
in. And
Nope.
I feel like no one should be able to no one should be holding on to things. No one
Right.
should be doing that, because once it gets in there and it's piled up, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get it out, regardless. And I feel like that's the same situation with family issues and friendship problems and all these problems that goes on, is because people build things inside of them
Yep.
instead of letting it out. And the more you build it up, um, you're not gonna be calm. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that. I had
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, panic attacks. I was overthinking everything. I was not in a good place.
Right.
I was not in a good place. Um, you can be the change, yes. And like I said, it's not, maybe not for the world entirely, of course, but what about your neighbor? What
Yeah.
about your friend? What about your spouse?
Mm-hmm.
What about your partner? Whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to call it.
Right.
So you could just be that smile for them. And I believe if people start doing more of that, because it has come to the point where people cannot even have a healthy debate. It's like two people
Unfortunately.
be sitting there and having a debate with one another, and all of a sudden you hear the shots
Yep.
or the cussing
Yep.
or it's like we can't even be have a healthy debate without
Yeah.
it
We can't
turning
even we
into
can't
a
even we
whole.
can't even be civil and have, agree to disagree. We should be able to
Everybody is
agree to
not going
disagree.
to, right.
We
Everybody
don't,
does not have the same opinion.
yeah, that's what I was gonna
Learn
say. We
that
don't have
people
the
are
same.
going to have different opinions from you. Everybody
Yep.
don't think like you. But
Mm-hmm.
instead of you trying to understand and comprehend what that person thought process is, you rather pull a GUN, or
Mm-hmm.
you ready to go to war
Or go to blows and start fighting. We be fighting out in these
and
streets
lose your whole life,
in the grocery
your whole
stores,
freedom,
you
and
know?
everything over some bullshit.
Yep.
Like, seriously,
Yep.
some of us really need to look in the mirror.
Yep.
It's not that deep. It's not.
It's not.
It really ain't. Woo. Do volunteer work. Get involved with something positive. Help the kids in the community. You know how many mothers live in a community and they want their kids to play football, basketball, and all that, but they can't because they got to work, and they
Yep.
don't even have the kid to have a ride back and forth from school. You want to do something positive? Help that mother.
Yep.
Get with them and be like, hey, why I got a car. I could drop them off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, be a help to your community.
Yep. All good things.
I'm
Definitely
sorry,
good
y'all. I got
things.
carried away.
No, it's okay. All
But
good things.
yeah, this is it for me today, because this is a really deep subject, and
It
I
is.
really can get into this. Like, I really can get into it.
Yep.
But I did have a long day at work, and I did a couple of TikToks. And then I tried to see if my headache would go away. And I was like,
Right.
well, okay, Brenda, we're gonna do this today, but yeah, we're gonna cut it a little short because I'm not feeling so well. That's just me being real.
That's okay. We all have our days. I had a long day at work too, and got kids that are in need of my attention. So I still have to get back to that other whole side of it. So my day is not over yet. So
Right.
yes, even though the reminder was reminding us to go to bed, I can't go to bed just yet.
You have advice to give. And I'm pretty sure that they're going to really appreciate it because you give really good advice.
I mean, honestly, I mean, all the things that you said were really good things. I don't know what happened to my light. I lost my light here. Okay. Sorry, guys. um, Advice. Number one, it's never as bad as you think it is in the moment. While it's definitely okay for you to feel your feelings, just know that there's somebody else probably in a very close proximity to you that's going through something even worse or something more difficult or something more challenging, that you wouldn't want to trade places with them with the challenges and adversities that they have to deal with, and what they have to overcome. So just, bear down, hold on tight, and deal with and try to manage as best you can whatever challenges and adversities you have,
With
that
what
that
you can
that
control.
what you can control, right? And then, I really liked what you said about, finding positive things. I think just as much as are, our attention is drawn to newsworthy stories and things that are happening within our community, certainly things that are happening in our backyard, there are a lot of positive and impactful stories that people are sharing using their different platforms across social media and different avenues and outlets. So, I'd say try to focus on those. Find yourself a really good redemption story, or somebody sharing their story of how they overcame X, Y, and Z, or their battle with an illness or a disease, or their battle with, trying to find a job, and, having a degree and having student loans and having to, work, overnight shifts, at Walmart until they were able to finish their real estate exam. And now they're, selling $1 million homes. I mean, there's so many different stories of how people overcame adversity that will be encouraging and inspiring and uplifting. And I think will help kind of reset our thought process and realize, that there is still hope, and, to focus on the light things and the bright spots, so that we're not so consumed with the darkness and the challenges, because there's always going to be challenges, there's always going to be adversity. But really, what's going to define us overall as humans, whether it's individual or as a community as a whole worldwide, is really how we deal with the adverse situations. How do we recover from this stuff? And you asked if it's possible for us to recover. And I believe that if everyone holds on to hope, then that possibility will always remain an option. But if everybody gives up, then all hell is just going to break loose. So don't give up, y'all. Don't give up.
Please don't.
Hmm.
All right, y'all. So this is the end of the show, and we will have Brenna with us next Tuesday
Tuesday.
at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please,
Yep,
if you haven't subscribed to Real Chill Conversations, you can do so by supporting us and listening to our podcast. And those of you who are faithfully here, thank you so much, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you.
absolutely.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.